Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests from around the globe. My name is Tamami Nagayama, team leader for this event. We are proudly representing countries New Zealand, Australia, and Japan. World Travelers Toastmasters Club is grateful to start this event to celebrate the centennial of Toastmasters. It is indeed our honor to welcome you all. Please note that we're recording this meeting, and please mute yourself when you're not speaking. Also, please reserve putting your comments and club promotions in the chat box while speakers are on the stage. We will have time later in the meeting for all of you to put up your club events. Now, I would like to welcome my brilliant and kind-hearted co-partner, Toastmaster of the Day, Smriti Mohanty from the Gabbies Online. Smriti, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much to Toastmaster Tamami. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone around the globe. Please put your hands together for our energetic team leader, Toastmaster Tamami. On behalf of Team 1, again, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you aboard to this exciting journey as we are celebrating the 100 incredible years of Toastmasters. Today, we are not only honoring the past, but inspiring the future. A future where every voice is empowered and diversity is celebrated. Well, the theme of this particular segment is going to be empowering every voice, Toastmasters, and the power of diversity. It is a tribute to the strength and uniqueness that each of us is going to bring in this global community. Are you all excited today? Give me some reaction. I can see people on my screen full on excited. Let's echo this energy throughout this entire meeting. To support this event,
share together.
Thank you so much. Okay, to support this event, we have our dedicated timers, all the 3 timers, and the Zoom moderators with me. They will be here throughout the end of the segment to ensure there is a smooth transition. So without any further ado, do you know what's there in our kitty today? A lot of things are lined up for us. Today, you are going to witness an exciting journey filled with inspiration and entertainment. We have 10 profound speakers lined up, a mesmerizing magic show, some fun quizzes to challenge your wits, and soothing melody that will make your heart sing. Let's make the history today. Again, are you all excited? Let me go to my gallery mode and see those beautiful faces. Thank you so much. Okay, I love this energy and this vibe. So what are we waiting for? Please put your chats, comments, everything respectfully and from where you are joining. Let's please be mindful when the speaker is taking the stage. Let's unmute ourselves as our team leader has already explained. On that note, I'm eager to get started with the very first speaker. Are you all ready? Now here comes our first speaker. Distinguished Toastmaster Gavin Blakey, the past international president. May I have Distinguished Toastmaster Gavin Blakey here.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster Smriti. Can you hear me okay?
Well, I can hear you.
Here we go. Fantastic. Now you can see me.
We can see you and we can hear you. Well, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and our distinguished members present in the meeting, you are seeing one of the profound speaker on your screen. A member of Toastmaster International since 1982, and the first Australian to serve as the international president. A true ambassador for the organization, Gavin has proudly represented Toastmasters across the globe. In recognition of his worldwide contribution to communication and leadership, he was awarded the prestigious Order of Australia Medal in 2004. Having inspired audience in 22 countries, Gavin's influence continues to shape the leaders and communicators worldwide. It's an honor to have you here, Gavin. Now, here it goes. Our first speaker, Gavin Blakey, 100 years of success. 100 years of success, Gavin Blakey.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Smutri. What an honor and pleasure it is to be here. I'd like to acknowledge a few people before we get started. And the first one would be, as far as I'm aware, Mike Storkey is the only past international president online at the moment, but there may be others, and there also may be serving international directors and international presidents. Acknowledge past international directors, officers, past regional advisors, and all serving officers. Well, Toastmaster Smutri, Toastmaster Tamami, who's organised this session, and of course the overall organiser, Eliza, this is extraordinary. When you think about it, this really reflects how far this organisation has come in 100 years. To think that now we're actually all online from right around the world. And I know what you're thinking, Gavin, that is a magnificent tie. Right? It's actually my favorite tie. And the reason I wear this so much, I don't wear it to bed or anything, but I wear it to Toastmaster events, is because it reflects the international nature of our organisation. In the 100 years that we've been an organisation, now we're in 150 countries around the world. And isn't that extraordinary? When I was the international president, now a long time ago, 2002, 2003, so over 20 years, I know what you're thinking. Must have done it as a child, right? Well, in that 20 years, we've gone from 100 countries to 150 countries, from 180,000, almost 200,000 members, to a peak at about 350,000 members, and now it's down to about 270 with COVID, and we know that had a significant effect on our organisation. But the thing that I have found is that Toastmasters is as relevant today as it was 100 years ago when Dr. Smedley formed the organisation. I've had the honour of actually going to the place where the first Toastmaster meeting was held, the YMCA in California. So not too far from where the International Convention was held this year in Anaheim in California. And that was wonderful in the sense that that was the birthplace of Toastmasters. The building wasn't so wonderful. It was actually falling down. I guess it was pretty old by that stage. But the point was that this was the birthplace of Toastmasters and how far we've come during that time. Dr. Smedley's dream, his vision was that it would really be an international organisation. And during that time, 4 million people have benefited from the Toastmasters program. And when you think about that, that's 4 million people who have directly benefited, and then they've been able to help others to develop their communication leadership skills. And so they've had an impact on other people. So if you even multiply that by impacting 10 other people, and that's 40 million people that the organisation has positively influenced during that time. Dr. Smedley said, "Ours is the only organisation I know that is dedicated to the individual. We work together to bring out the best in each of us and then apply our skills to help others." And isn't that so true? Toastmasters is about helping ourselves and helping others. And one of the cornerstones of Toastmasters is evaluation. Evaluation means to add value. What are you doing well and why? What can you improve and how? So what are you doing well and why? What can you improve and how? And that is a real enabler for us to improve, so build on what we're doing well, but improve so we'll be even better next time. And this is the forum where we try those experiences out so that we can polish it and become even better. So when we apply it out there in the real world, then we're confident that our presentation, our leadership style is appropriate. And we think about that, that's true for our personal, our professional, and our community lives. So we look at the professional lives first up. I've had the opportunity to travel the world through my job and through Toastmasters. I could never have envisaged that happening. From someone who was a shy introvert, and people would find that hard to believe, but it's true, a shy introvert, Toastmasters has given me the confidence and the competence in communication. And that's what it does for people. It transforms their lives. So the Toastmasters leadership skills, as well as the communication skills, I've been able to apply in my workplace. I was often chosen to go on assignments because of my communication and leadership, not directly because of my engineering skill. Well, that's pretty good as well, but it's really my communication and leadership skills, which are the Toastmaster skills, that are transformational. If we think about how it might apply in our personal lives, in our families, in our circle of friends. We now have the confidence to be able to stand up and speak at events. And often we're called upon to do that because we have the Toastmaster skills. If we think about making a difference in the community, and here's what Dr. Smedley said. He said, while most of us may have entered Toastmasters to learn to make speeches, that benefit is but the beginning of the good which may come to us and the good which we can do for mankind. Toastmasters doesn't exist for its own sake. Toastmasters exists to help us to be better communicators and leaders so we can apply that in the personal, professional, and community lives. An example of that would be that I've gone on to do a whole range of activities, including being chair of the board for Toastmasters, yes, but for Engineers Without Borders, where we positively impact people around the world. Well, where did I get that experience? In Toastmasters. As chair of the board in Toastmasters, as a director, I learned the skills I could apply in other organizations. So I'd encourage you to think about, what are you doing? How are you making a difference through the skills that you've gained through Toastmasters? We have the potential to change not only our own lives, but the lives of others. As we think about this forum that we're here today, how amazing that we're connecting people from around the world, whether you're morning, afternoon, evening, coming together to share the skills and experience. Dr. Smedley said we learn best during moments of enjoyment. We learn during moments of enjoyment. And really, that is true of Toastmasters, isn't it? When we enjoy what we're doing, we're more likely to remember it. We're also more likely to influence others. So as we look back on the last 100 years of the organisation, we can see it has made an extraordinary difference. We can see that it's made a difference in our own lives and in other people's lives. I'd encourage you to not only make a difference in Toastmasters, but make a difference throughout your world through your Toastmasters skills and experience, your communication and leadership skills. So from Portugal to Pennsylvania, from New Zealand to New Guinea, from Townsville to Tokyo, wherever you might be in the world, I encourage you to be enthusiastic about your Toastmasters, to invite people to come and join your club. I would here like to thank the World Travellers Toastmasters Club for organising this extraordinary event and connecting so many people around the world. It's one great example of how together we'll have another 100 years of success. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Gavin Blakey. Please put your hands together for our very first speaker. And indeed, let's make the difference together. On that note, let's proceed with our very next speaker here. Again, are you all excited? If you are comfortable, do come on camera, show your beautiful faces, grab your cup of coffee and tea, and enjoy the journey with us. Let's have our next speaker here, an accredited speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Rees-Bevan. Can we have her on screen? And yes, she is here with us. You're going to witness and listen to an award-winning professional speaker and trainer. She is the author of The Speaking Formula. Well, it's available on Amazon. She loves language, learning, and laughter. She believes in combining these is equal measure in all her sessions. Please pop your smiles on and welcome our accredited speaker on stage. And yes, I can see. Well, fellas, remember, she's going to share her screen. If you really want to make the best use of the visibility, go right away and switch to your side-by-side mode so that you can see both the presentation and the speaker together. Distinguished Toastmaster, Rees-Bevan. Everybody's got something. Everybody's got something. Rees-Bevan.
Thank you so much. And I'm hoping my screen's sharing suitably. Thank you very much, Gavin. And thank you for that wonderful tribute to Toastmasters. One of the things that I love about Toastmasters is the availability of these wonderful quizzes and self-assessment tools that increase our self-awareness. I think it's amazing what we can learn. And when we consider the dimensions of diversity within our clubs, one of the things that I think we can also consider on the communication landscape is diversity in communication styles. Now, if you're not aware of these terms or haven't come across them yet, please take a moment to scribble them down in front of you. Perhaps someone would be kind enough to type them up quickly in the chat so that they're available for you. And I think the easiest way to describe or explain them is by giving you a scenario. So I'm going to talk you through a meeting scenario. You might come across these communication styles in a business meeting. Maybe you belong to an organization that has, I don't know, executive meetings, committee meetings, and you would see these styles played out in front of you. But the scenario I'm going to talk you through is a family meeting. So I'd like to introduce you to the Robinson family. And one evening over dinner, the mother says to the family, "We're going on safari. Next July, we're going to South Africa, to the Kruger National Park to go game viewing. That's what we're doing." What style of communication is the mother using? If someone could unmute and shout it out.
Supportive.
I would say it's something a little bit more assertive.
Initiating.
Direct.
Direct. We are going on safari. This is not negotiable. That is a direct communication style. This is happening. And little Jimmy, sitting over there, responds with, "Are we? Oh, goody, we're going on safari. We're going to see lions and tigers. And can we get out the car and go and pat them? And we can take photos. It's going to be so exciting. I can't wait. Can I go pat now?" What communication style is little Jimmy demonstrating here?
Initiating.
That is initiating, typically characterized by enthusiasm, passion, spontaneity, and expressiveness. That's an initiating communicating style. And then little Susie responds with, "They don't have tigers in Africa, silly. And if we go in July, it's going to be winter. We should have a summer holiday." And how far is it from Australia to South Africa? What style are we getting from Susie apart from sarcastic?
Analytical.
That is an analytical style. Again, characterized by attention to detail, focusing on the how and the what and the where. And then Father Robinson steps in and says, "Darling, I think it's a wonderful idea that we're going on safari. And Susie, you're quite right. There are no tigers in Africa other than in the zoos, and it'll be a wonderful opportunity for you to test out your new camera lenses. Jimmy, I love your enthusiasm, but we love you, so you're staying in the car and you're not patching any wild animals, but we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. You're quite right about that." And what style is the father demonstrating there?
Supportive.
Supportive. And we'll leave Safari Family Robinson there and talk a little bit about how these styles play out in our lives. So when I first came across them, I was quite excited because I could actually join dots between communication styles and my learning and development, both as a communicator and a human being. I was working on a project at our club and realized that there were people coming to me and saying, "Well, could we do this? And could we do this?" And in my, shall we say, immaturity, took their suggestions as criticisms of the way that I was doing things. Took a little while to realize that their analytical approach was actually really useful. And like Susie, they were quite happy to go and measure the distance from Australia to South Africa. If you give them a task, what they actually want to do is help and undertake those details. And I just had this epiphany. Ooh, how long has this been going on? Analytical people are really helpful and great to have on your team, as are supportive people. And now and then you need someone to come in and direct action. So recognizing what people bring to a project or to a team is a wonderful realization. You might be familiar with that Kevin Costner film, Field of Dreams, where he says, build it and they will come. Well, I've adopted the philosophy of dream it and they will build it and they will come. Everything gets done if you're willing to harness other people's styles and abilities. This has played out for me recently in a work project where I found myself working with some very analytical people and had to adapt my communication style. If you haven't figured it out, I'm an initiator. I'm rainbows and unicorns and passion and enthusiasm. Details, not so much. But I realized that adopting an analytical communication approach firstly made me look a little bit more intelligent, and secondly, met the client where they were at. But again, they were also happy to get involved and take care of a lot of the details. So it's a great way of collaborating and building a partnership there. I think the key learning for me and something we can all take on is everybody's got something to offer to bring to the table. And if we learn from them, we discover everyone's got everything and we can do incredible things together.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Del, for initiating this particular speech, which was full of lot of supportiveness, which I can see on the chat. And it was indeed a pleasure listening to the entire speech. Please put your hands together for our speaker here. Okay, please do come on camera again if it is comfortable for you. Moving ahead, let the dice get rolling here. Are you all excited again to listen to our next speaker? Okay, I can see the energy in the room. Our next speaker, can we have our past regional advisor, distinguished Toastmaster, Kazuko Kawauchi, if he's in the room? Can we have him? Is she here? Okay, she is here. It's my honor to introduce a distinguished Toastmaster who is with Toastmaster from 2003. As District 72 Governor for the year 2012 and 2013. She led the district to a number 4 global ranking during a national crisis. A former region advisor for North Asia and presidential citation recipient, she also served as a Pathways ambassador and guide, shaping the future of Toastmasters leadership. Trust me, when you really honor and introduce someone of this level, you really start popping, just like me. But it's our pleasure to have you here. Let's put our hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Kazuko. Diversity is the beauty of Toastmaster. Diversity is the beauty of Toastmaster Kazuko Kawauchi.
Happy anniversary, Toastmasters. Hello, everyone. I have a question for you. What fascinates you? For me, it is Toastmasters diversity. Today, I will talk about 3 topics. The first, eye-opening history. 2, my experience as a region advisor. And 3, our future. First, at an international convention, I happened to meet Toastmaster Frank, who was 95 years old. He proudly told me, I evaluated Dr. Smeldy's speech. He was a great speaker with class. Wow, I was overwhelmed. He was indeed the living history of Toastmasters. Then he told me about some historical events, such as women officially joining with their real name, not disguised as men. His story still inspires me and appreciate our predecessors for their excellent work to develop this organization as it is today to celebrate the Centennial. It was excellent opportunity for me to learn the history of Toastmaster at the convention. Second, I was appointed as a regional advisor in 2014 to help the district in India, Sri Lanka, China, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan to achieve their district mission. The region was very vast and varied. 38 world population lived there, and 1,724 languages were spoken. Can you imagine the diversity that these numbers represent? Some districts enjoy the events on the lunar calendar, so members are away from the club activities for 1 to 4 weeks. Alas, I worried about their DCP progress, so I could not sleep well. But I learned a lot of this experience for my life. Third, about, my international leadership role within Toastmaster gave me the opportunity to learn vast different cultural differences with respect. I also reconfirmed that in our organization, even minor voices were heard. I think this was enhanced by core values. Let me share one example. During the telephone call with a district officers, most officers expressed their opinion to use high-tech tools to recruit more members because that was their issue. And they almost decided to use them. Then a very young female, inexperienced officer insisted on printing the flyer and distributing them to the target audience by putting them in the offices of doctors, dentists, and wherever possible. I moderated the heated discussion. It was a sweaty job. Eventually, they decided to introduce her idea as their marketing strategy. So what happened? Wow, amazingly, the district achieved the President Distinguished District for the first time. This was an excellent example of our culture to appreciate and think is regarded very good of diversity, regardless of age, gender, experience, and position. I reconfirm that diversity is the beauty of Toastmaster. At the same time, diversity is the power of Toastmasters. We all together work and strive toward the same goal of creating the best version of ourselves without any serious conflict or competition. Third, about our future. In Japan, members have voluntarily helped the student of an international high school every year for the last 2 decades, led by a very strong leader with futuristic mindset. I believe these students will be the voice of our future Toastmasters and carry over the Dr. Smedley's legacy and passion in the next 100 years. Finally, I can summarize diversity is the beauty of Toastmaster, which will continue to fascinate me.
Thank you so much. It's indeed an honor to know the beauty of diversity and, most importantly for me, to understand your leadership a bit closely. Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for our distinguished Kazuko. Okay. How's the energy now? We had back-to-back three speakers, and I'm all pumped up for the next speaker. Do you know why? Of course, because he is a profound speaker, but along with that, do you remember what I said in the initial agenda? It's not only about the speeches. Now you're going to really witness the magic in front of you. On a very literal term, the magic is going to happen. Do we have with us on our screen here our next accredited speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Greg Wood with us?
Yes.
Okay, a professional speaker with over 25 years of experience who has presented in 10 countries across 5 continents. As a speaker from Toastmaster International, Greg helps organizations grow leadership to drive business success. He's also a contributing author to Keystones and Cornerstones, Solid Foundations for Success in Business and Life. Well, today he is here to share a very strong message. Are we all excited? Greg Wood, erase your limits. Erase your limits, Greg Wood.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity to share with you, and I didn't even know exactly how I should start. So I thought I would start by letting you know how it all started for me. I was 12 years old. It was Christmas morning. I came down the stairs, and there, underneath the tree, was a magic set. I took it back up to my room. I opened it up. I read all of the instructions. I looked through everything. I learned how to work and practiced and practiced and practiced. And by the very next day, I thought I should do my first show. Well, I went down to my parents' basement. I even made my own little magic box. There was about 14 or 15 people sitting around on folding chairs eating triangle sandwiches. I stood in front of them and I showed them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. I then took one of those cards and I threw it away. I snapped my fingers and I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. Everyone was so amazed. They punched the air and yelled, "Amazing!" From the look of the gallery, maybe we'll have to try that again. Let me take you back to where it all started for me. I was 6 years old in my parents' basement. There was 40 or 50 people sitting around on folding chairs eating triangle sandwiches. I stood in front of them. I showed them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. I then threw away not just one, but 2 of those cards. I snapped my fingers and I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. They were so impressed, the entire gallery punched the air and yelled, "Amazing!"
Amazing!
Okay, we got some of you. Let me take you back to where it all started. I was 2 years old in my parents' basement. There was 4 or 500 people sitting around on triangle sandwiches eating folding chairs. I showed them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. I then threw away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 playing cards. I snapped my fingers. I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing cards. They were so impressed they punched the air and yelled,
Amazing!
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 when they realized the cards had never existed in the first place. They leapt to their feet for a standing. Maybe you had to be there for that part. But you know, when I got that kind of reaction from the crowd, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I went to my mom and said, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a magician. And she said, I'm sorry, son, you can't do both. You can either grow up or become a magician, but not both. So I never grew up, and I became a magician. I achieved my goal. I went for it, at least in this instance. Why is it that some people reach their goals and others do not? Does it have to do with like education? You know, maybe high school or a bachelor's degree or master's degree? Is it experience, you know, work experience or job experience or even personal experience? Or maybe it's the people we know, you know, relationships. It doesn't matter what you know as long as you know the right people, right? It's who you know. And as important as all of those are, they're very small when compared to someone's self-esteem. The greatest separator between successful and unsuccessful people at any stage of their life is how they perceive themselves. You see, we don't get out of life what we want. That's called a dream. And the reason people feel that dreams don't come true is because what we do get out of life is directly proportional Now, a low self-esteem will savage a dream, even if it's a great dream. But if you have good self-esteem and a good dream, we can achieve it. You can't reach your dream with a low self-esteem. It's that simple. Let me explain using a little bit of a, we'll just use a little visual aid. So, what do I have here? This is a $10 bill, Canadian $10. It's worth about $8 American, maybe $7.50. And what can I do with this $10 bill? Well, in Canada, I can go to the store and I can buy $10 worth of groceries with it because that's its value, $10. But if I were to take that bill, fold it, and fold it and change its value to something lower, if I were to do that with it, then I can only get $5 for it. Nobody's going to give me $10 worth of value for it anymore. That's it. It's only worth that much. So it's the same with our lives. The way we value ourselves has the same kind of an impact. If we desire a 10, but our self-esteem is a 5, we'll never perform at the level of a 10. We'll perform at a 5 or lower. It's like a lid holding us back. We need to understand that the value we place on ourselves is the value others will place on us too. You see, I've placed $5 value on this by changing it to a $5 bill, and the world's not going to give me $10 for it. We can't buy $10 worth of groceries with a $5 bill. We can't win a 10K race if we only run 10K. And we can't reach a 10 dream with a 5 self-esteem. But luckily there are things we can do, actions we can take ourselves that can help us to increase our self-esteem so we can build it up so it's back to a 10. Now, Nathaniel Brandon, an expert on self-esteem, says nothing is more important to people's psychological development and motivation than the value judgments they make about themselves. Every aspect of their lives is impacted by the way they see themselves. In fact, people who believe in themselves get better jobs and perform better at them. There was a study done many years ago where a major insurance firm in New York was studied, and they found that salesmen who thought they would succeed sold 37% more times than those who didn't think they would succeed. As a fact, some studies have shown that there's a greater correlation between high self-esteem and high academic marks than there is between IQ and high academic marks. Now, I want to make it clear, this is not a if you can believe it, you can achieve it message, because that's just not true. I hear it all the time. It's a lie. There has to be some truth to go with your belief. However, you will accomplish much more in your life with a good self-image. The greatest limitations people experience in achieving their dreams are usually the ones they impose upon themselves. I was a surveyor for about many years of my life. And so I'd be working out in the field, doing stuff outside. And I saw some weird things, but I remember one day working near a farmyard, and I watched a cow bend down, turn her head sideways, push it forward, and start to eat grass. I asked the farmer if the cow had had a recent blow to the head. He said, no, there just used to be a fence there. An invisible fence. Have you ever seen an invisible fence? Okay, that's probably a stupid question. If it was invisible, you can't see it. There are such things as invisible fence. And we bought one to protect our dog. You put a wire around your yard, you bury it in the ground, and the dog wears a collar. Now, as the dog approaches this wire, you can feel a tingling, here's a noise, then a tingling, until it's quite a jolt if they try to get out of the yard. It sounds cruel, but we wanted to keep the dog in the yard rather than get killed in traffic. And you're supposed to learn after one or two experiences. Not sure about my dog, but that's what's supposed to happen. Well, I think I've had the same kind of a thing. You see, the dog is supposed to get to a point where they hear it and they don't want to go any further. They don't even feel a buzz. They don't feel any pain. They just hear it. They stop. They want to stay in their comfort zone. Now, I've fallen victim to the same kind of fears myself. I've moved towards a goal, but as I got near the edge, right, the edge of my comfort zone, I stopped. My self-limiting beliefs kept me where I was. I did not believe in myself enough. My fear of failure was stronger than my desire to succeed. I studied theater from the time I was about 13 years old till my early 20s. But I was never able to pull the trigger. I have a number of friends who've acted in movies and television series and gone on to do, not Broadway, but off-Broadway. And I couldn't do it. I was just going to go to college, get a real job, settle down, and be safe. Actually, after I finished college, I had the opportunity to open for two Elvis impersonators. They were twins. And one did the old Elvis and one did the young Elvis. I don't understand that they were twins. But anyway, they figured it out. Now Elvis is opening act, to be a comedian, so they wanted a comedian. So I was invited to come along with them to tour the East Coast of the United States. And I had about 3 hours of material down pat, and I was ready to go. But then, when the time came to make that final decision, I stopped dead. What if I wasn't funny enough? What if people didn't laugh? What if I bombed? No, I couldn't do it. I got to the edge of that comfort zone and stopped. Have you ever done that? Got to the edge of your comfort zone and just stopped dead because you didn't feel that you could move forward? We need to move beyond our self-limiting beliefs. Those self-limiting beliefs are directly related to our self-esteem. And every time we push through one of those beliefs, it's a victory we've achieved, and it raises our self-esteem. You see, every time you realize you can go further, you try to go even further, and you can achieve more. There are a number of ways that we can use to raise our self-esteem. It's a subject that could fill an entire day, and does in my full-day workshop. But I thought I'd share with you today what I believe is the simplest and most effective way to build our self-esteem. Do something for someone else. Do something for someone else. Making a difference, even a small one, in the lives of other people lifts our self-esteem. You see, it's hard to feel bad about ourselves when we're doing something nice for somebody else. In addition to that, adding value to others creates a positive cycle for one person to another, and it helps to raise our self-esteem. Dr. Donald O. Clifton, PhD, a former CEO of the Gallup organization and author of the book, How Full Is Your Bucket, wrote about this. He and his team did a study where they interviewed over 1 million people. And they discovered that every interaction that we have with another human being either adds to or subtracts from our lives. It's almost never just even. And it doesn't matter if we're ordering a cup of coffee or sitting down with a friend we haven't seen in 10 years. It adds to or subtracts from our lives. Dr. Olson was the first one to call it the bucket and the dipper. Let me explain what the bucket and the dipper was with this story. There was a young boy who woke up one morning feeling absolutely wonderful about life. He could see all of the beauty in life. You could say that his bucket was full. You see, according to Dr. Clifton, each one of us has an invisible bucket. I painted mine red so you could see it. And when that's full, we feel wonderful. But when it's empty, we don't feel good at all. This boy's bucket was full to just about overflowing. He got dressed and he headed out, off to school. And just as he got outside the door, another boy came by and yelled, riding on his bike, and yelled, "Hey, goofy looking, you're looking pretty stupid today." Well, it wasn't very nice, and it actually dipped into our boy's bucket and stole some of that beauty he could see in life. You see, each one of us also has an invisible dipper. I painted mine red so you could see it. And that dipper can be used to pour into somebody's life, or it can be used to dip in and take from the life. Boy on the bike was dipping in and taking it. Well, our boy got to school. Just as he walked in the door, there were some people fooling around, and they knocked him over. And that was an accident, but nobody came back to see if he was okay. No one seemed to care. They just left him. And that kind of dipped into his bucket. He got to his locker with all his books and papers all over the floor. And instead of trying to help him, they made jokes about gravity. You know what? That dipped into his bucket and stole some of that beauty. And at lunchtime, our boy sat by himself because he was always hoping someone would come by and he'd be able to make a friend. But he was left by himself, and that kind of dipped into his bucket. Well, our boy had started off with a wonderful day, wonderful morning, feeling absolutely wonderful about life, but here it was noon, and his bucket was completely empty, and he no longer felt good about his life. What about those people who've been taking from him? Well, they must have gained what they took from him, right? No, that's what Dr. Clifton discovered. Dippers have holes. You don't get to keep what you want from somebody else. You can't keep it from them. You can only gain it by building somebody else's bucket. Well, our boy then took the next day. Somebody came by and told him what a wonderful day it was. He got to school, he got knocked over, but somebody came back and said they were sorry. He ended up dropping his books, but people helped him pick them up. All those things helped to fill his bucket. That's right, to fill his bucket. He sat down and the boys sat down with him, and two boys sat down with him and made friends because they wanted to have some friends as well. And the boy once again could see the beauty in life. And the people had been pouring into his life, well, they weren't less anything. They also could see all of the beauty in life. Thank you.
That was distinguished Toastmaster Greg Wood. I felt again like a 5-year-old sitting and glued to my screen like, how is this happening? But thank you so much for this great combination of magic and inspiration of redefining self-esteem for us. Please put your hands together for our speaker once again, and let's welcome our next speaker on stage. Do we have our next speaker? Again, distinguished Toastmaster here, a past international director as well. May I request? Yes, we do have Lesley Storkey with us. Distinguished Toastmaster since 1990, whose leadership journey began as club secretary, providing deep insights into club and district operations. She served as District 69 Governor and led the online training committee's groundbreaking Zoom pilot. Now International Director for Region 12, Lesley is passionate about mentoring leaders and fostering global connections within Toastmasters. Lesley Storkey, the changing lenses. The changing lenses, Lesley Storkey.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and friends from around the world. What a privilege to be here in this very special meeting. I am now a past international director, by the way. 100 years ago, Dr. Ralph Smedley had a vision. His lens was wide, and he had an amazing vision of helping young men, as it was in those days, to gain better communication skills. We have continued to do that over the years, but only because we have looked through different lenses every moment as we travel on our leadership journey. 34 years ago, I joined Toastmasters. I know some of you weren't even born then. I was. And I became club secretary. Now, I could have had some high thoughts about being club secretary, but really I became club secretary, one, because I didn't step away fast enough when I was voluntold, and two, I had no idea what it meant, but three, I thought that was the way to find out more about Toastmasters. And I truly did. It was a wonderful time. I went on the leadership journey. I went through club officer roles until in 2008, I became district governor, as it was then, of District 69, which at that stage covered Australia and New Zealand. I travelled to the convention, not my first, but an amazing time. And our international president coming in at that time was Jana Barnhill. I still remember her saying to district governors, "I want you to be distinguished." Now, I didn't really know what distinguished meant, but I thought my president told me I had to be, so I'm going to be. What I didn't understand was that that was just a goal, a metric, something that we have on paper. But it was really more about, were my members achieving their needs? I did not serve as a distinguished district governor. My district was not distinguished. However, I look back now and I think, did my members achieve their goals? I like to hope and think they did. But what it really did for me, two things. One, I still greet Jana as my president. She is still very much my first huge role model on the international scene. But number two, I realized that it's all about the individual in Toastmasters. It's all about exactly what Dr. Ralph Smedley wanted his young men to do, to be empowered, to have a voice. I did continue on the leadership journey. I eventually became international director from Region 12, which had gained a few more countries into the region by that time. And it was an amazing experience. An experience that was slightly different because it was during COVID times. And the hardest thing then was that my lens was not big enough to speak to the members face to face. And Zoom was wonderful, but it didn't give me that same connection. So I had to adjust my vision, have a different perception of what true connection really went. I did think about further leadership journeys, and I failed at those. And it took me time to accept that. I can still only think of it with some concern and some sadness. But it was a very good thing, really, because I adjusted my lens, my personal lens, to realize that I didn't have the right self-awareness at that point. What was I really looking for as a Toastmaster, as a person? And what I was looking for was to believe in myself, but also to understand what amazing people are out there. My role as international director and my role in the few years after that showed me the huge diversity in our organisation. I was extremely privileged to meet so many people from around the world. Your chat messages today reminds me that I met some of you in Delhi, some of you at International Convention, some of you online on Zoom to Japan, many different opportunities. All the time, my lens was changing to cover the whole world of Toastmasters. People are incredible. In the last few years, I've met other people. And one person I remember and do remember is Sujit, a gentleman who did stand for international leadership twice and was successful in his second year. He's a man who has to deal with incredible physical obstacles and challenges, and yet he never stops trying. He never stops sharing. He never stops using self-deprecating humor to have us laugh at him, but more importantly, with him. And that to me is what Toastmasters has given me. The opportunity to meet people like Jana, to meet people like Sujit, Lynn from New York, Colin from the Whitsundays, Glenn from New Zealand, and learn that Toastmasters is an incredible organisation that has a huge diversity of people's skills, the challenges they meet, the challenges they face, and the challenges that they overcome. As a Toastmaster and as a person, I hope that I've adjusted my vision to always be changing my lens in whatever time, place I'm in. But most of all, I am constantly thankful for Dr. Ralph Smedley, who has given us, to date, 100 years of an incredible vision, and for empowering all of us to more effectively communicate with each other. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Lesley, for that gratitude and giving me a kaleidoscope to see the perspective lens from a different point of view. We are really honored to have you here. Please put your hands together for our speaker. Let's get rolling. We have lined up, as we committed, back-to-back profound speakers with us. On that note, may we have our next speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Michael said on screen, please. It is my pleasure to introduce past Region 12 advisor Michael said, a dedicated Toastmaster for 25 years. Today, he will speak on a topic that resonates deeply with him. A message, a profound impact that invites each of us to contribute meaningfully to humanity. Michael said, can we have him spotlighted? Michael said, so the world can see. So the world can see, Michael said.
It was late September. The 2000 Sydney Olympics were well underway. A 35-year-old male was driving in suburban Sydney when, bam, a horrific car crash left him in a coma. The next day, the family had to make the agonising decision to turn off life support. Dear friends around the world, why do I tell you that story? I do because today, part of him is looking at you. You see, 2 days after that car crash, I received his cornea. Step back a few years. My doctor looked at me and said, your right eye has keratoconus. Kerato what? Keratoconus, coning of the cornea. If left untreated, one day you will sneeze, you'll rupture your cornea, and you'll be blind. My only option was a corneal graft, but I faced a massive problem. There was a huge waiting list and so few donors. 2 years passed. I heard nothing. You couldn't find out where you were on the waiting list, you just had to wait. I was slowly losing my sight, wondering, have they lost sight of me? I thought this could be my last Olympics. I'd see with this eye anyway. So I bought a closing ceremony ticket for $1,500. That week, one morning, I got a phone call. Michael, we have your new cornea. You must come to the hospital immediately. I dropped the phone. What about my closing ceremony ticket in 3 days' time? Oh, well, if I turned down the call, I'd go to the bottom of the list. And after waiting 2 years, I didn't want that. So in the blink of an eye, I was in the hospital. The anaesthetist greeted me with, Michael, we've decided to do your surgery under a local anaesthetic. A local anaesthetic? I wanted to be asleep. They're about to put the equivalent of a cookie cutter on my eye, twist it a few times, peel off my old cornea, put on the new one, and secure it with 16 stitches. Under a local anaesthetic? He thought he was doing me a favour. He said the recovery is much faster that way. He also asked me what I've been doing and for how long I've been doing it. So I asked him, how long has he been an anaesthetist? To which he said, today's my first day. That was how he relaxed his patients, and it worked. But as I was now going to be conscious, I was wondering, what would I see without the top of my eye? Gowned up in the operating room, I knew I wouldn't be able to see that very attractive nurse. All I could see was a black light peering through a hole. But I could hear everything. And I heard the surgeon say, here's the old cornea, don't mix it up with the new one. And I thought, boy, what happens if they stitch the old one back on again? But no, the surgery went off without a hitch. And I got to go to that closing ceremony wearing a patch. I should have asked for half a discount because I only saw half of everything. But over the next few months, my vision gradually improved, but it was still unstable. And I asked the surgeon, will this ever be over? And he said, when the final stitch comes out, it will settle. That last stitch came out 1 year after my surgery. I was watching a foreign movie when all of a sudden I thought, guess what? I can now read the subtitles. But I could also read what wasn't written, that only 1 in 10 eligible donors are actually organ donors. And each body donated brings precious gifts: hearts, lungs, livers, kidneys, cornea. Now, I've always thought that if I was to pass early, they'd want to have a crack at my powerful brain. My wife reckons that they'd want it because it's in a brand new, unused condition. My gift of sight came because a gracious 35-year-old generously agreed to be an organ donor. And isn't giving of yourself the greatest gift? Though his passing brought grief to his loved ones, part of him lives on in me. Just recently, this has impacted a good friend of many of us, Nick Rinaldi. Last month, his daughter Felicity received a new heart. And because of a gracious donor, she now has the potential to see her 7-year-old son, Nathaniel, one day become a father. When you receive a donated organ, you're not told the daughter's name, so you can't thank the family for agreeing. Speaking today is my way of giving thanks. As I look at you all through this 35-year-old's eye, I'm certain he's wondering, are you an organ donor? In Australia, to be an organ donor, you have to register on the Australian Donor Registry. It will be different in each country. But he became an organ donor. I became an organ donor. You too can become an organ donor. Find it in your heart and give the greatest gift of all, so the whole world can see. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Michael. It felt like a cinematic view in front of me, living through your journey and experiencing and learning in each and every stage. Thank you so much for letting us know that part of the story. Please put your hands together for this particular, our profound speaker here who took the stage. Let me check the energy in the room, how you all are feeling. Give me some emoticons which you are feeling right away. Feel free to use that emoticon icon in your box, in your Zoom, and let me know. How's the energy? How are you feeling now? May I see some? Let me share what I'm feeling. Oh, wow. I echo with Tamami. I'm feeling the same here. May I see some more? Okay, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Please let that energy flow because we are here to celebrate something which we all are waiting for. A very remarkable event, a remarkable day, and thanks and really appreciate all your presence to be here, irrespective of all your different time zones, coming together and making this celebration a big success. Are you excited for the next speakers lined up? I can see the nod. Thank you so much. So what are we waiting for? Let's bring our next speaker here. May I have the pleasure to have distinguished Toastmaster Lauren Parsons on the screen. A certified speaking professional, accredited speaker, TEDx speaker, award-winning speaker, and this list goes on. Named New Zealand's current keynote speaker of the year, Lauren is a sought-after international speaker with over 20 years of experience. She specializes in helping leaders creating thriving, energized workplaces through resilience, productivity, and leadership strategies. May I have Lauren Parsons on the screen, please? Lauren Parsons. Resilience to not just survive, but thrive. Resilience to not just survive, but thrive. Lauren Parsons.
How would you like to not just survive, but truly thrive, regardless of what life throws at you? I've spent the last 2 decades helping organizations and leaders to build their resilience. And I've created 5 Live Well principles, which are to uplift your thoughts, to nourish your body with whole, real food, to invigorate your life, to strengthen your body and mind, and to restore, to keep everything in balance. Today, I want to share with you one scientifically proven way you can build your resilience so you can be at your best in Toastmasters and in life. Sometimes proof comes a little bit too close to home. My husband, Maury, and I have 3 daughters. And because Maury's in the military, in our 21 years of marriage, we have moved house 15 times, 6 times internationally, which has taken me all around the world to meet my Toastmasters family. We now live on a small farm in New Zealand. We have 15 sheep, 10 cows, 2 chickens, 1 rooster. We love that it is so calm, except when that rooster is crowing. Last year, Cyclone Gabrielle hit New Zealand, what you might call a hurricane, and the river upstream of us burst its banks. And in less than an hour, our beautiful green paddocks turned to this. If I go back, you can see the fence line there beside our sheep, totally covered. My entire home, my home office, completely flooded. It's a surreal feeling watching muddy water flow into your home, being powerless to stop it. Fortunately, the kids were at school. Maury and I were home. We were able to get up on the roof with the cat in a cage, and we were rescued on the front of a tractor. If you look really close, you might just see my cat's little face there, and she is not happy. And neither were we. We were devastated. And as we started the back-breaking, heartbreaking work of the cleanup, I felt like I was hanging on by my fingernails, surviving on an hour's sleep a night. So many decisions to make. Where will we live? What do we feed our cows? What do we do with everything that's damaged? The list went on. It was like juggling dozens of balls, and some of them felt like boulders. But now, as I reflect back on the last 18 months, it's made me realize 2 things about these Live Well principles that I've shared for decades. 1, they really do work. And 2, you have to apply them even when you don't feel like it. Sometimes you've got to make yourself take the next step to get through the next day. Can you relate? So with these 5 Live Well principles, there are actually 32 pillars that underpin them. And I would love to just focus in on one of these. Together, they give you a holistic approach to boosting your well-being. But let's just talk about the one that really made a big difference for me over these last 18 challenging months. And that is to adopt an attitude of gratitude. You see, your brain can't be in 2 places at once. Did you know that? So when you're focused on your problems or your challenges, as soon as you think about what you're grateful for, everything shifts in an instant. Gratitude has this amazing power to take a really tough day and make it a little brighter, to take a good day and make it great, to take a great day and make it extraordinary. The key is to have a daily gratitude practice. So whether that's in the morning, to think of something you're grateful for from the day before, around the dinner table to share a highlight of your day, or before you go to bed to journal 3 things you're grateful for. For me, it was, I'm grateful our animals survived. I'm grateful someone thought to buy us pajamas and toothbrushes. I'm grateful for this hot meal and this warm bed. I invite you right now to think of one thing you are grateful for in life. And go ahead and type it in the chat. You have permission. Go and type it in the chat. Let's flood the chat with gratitude right now. Often people will tell me that they're simply grateful to be alive. They're grateful for family. They're grateful for their Toastmasters club. I can see the chat is having more things coming through. It's being flooded. Your wife and kids. Oh, yes, the rooster was okay as well. Family, health, amazing connections made through Toastmasters. How beautiful. So thank you for taking a moment to do that. Did you know you've just shifted your body's biochemistry by engaging in gratitude? That's what makes it such a powerful mindset practice. So this is why I encourage you to adopt an attitude of gratitude. It will have a positive ripple out into your life. Now, I know there are a lot of words on the screen and I haven't had a chance to share them all. So I have a small gift for you. I've written a book on the 5 keys to build a positive, energized culture. So I encourage you, if you'd like to, grab out your phone, open your camera and take a shot of the QR code there. And you're very welcome to download a complimentary copy of this book. It's packed with checklists of ways that you can apply these live well principles to help you thrive in life and at work. I want to just close with one final thought. The day of the flood, as Maury and I walked away from our damaged home, he grabbed my hand and he said, "Do you know what? This is going to be an amazing resilience building exercise for the kids." And it absolutely has been. For them, for him, for me. I wouldn't wish a flood on anyone. But I am grateful for the lessons we've learned and for the blessing of us sticking together and holding on tight through all the ups and downs. I hope that as you go back to your community, to your club, to your family, that you can take this practice of making gratitude a part of your day and show up as your most resilient self. Then, when the storms of life come your way, you'll be able to hold on tight to your loved ones, safe in the knowledge that you will not just survive, but truly thrive. Happy 100th birthday, Toastmasters. Thank you so much for the chance to speak today.
It was our pleasure, Distinguished Toastmaster Lauren. Well, I just remembered a very beautiful quote, which really, I think, make a lot of presence and understanding here that life doesn't get easier. However, we get stronger and more resilient with situation. Thank you so much for reinforcing this memory and also awakening our memory with the perspective of gratituding daily and what it comes when you really offer your gratitude in return. Thank you so much for those lessons. Please put your hands together for our speaker here. Okay, on that note, let's move ahead. And I see people joining, and I also equally felt so humble and great. Esteemed Toastmasters, our guest, everybody participating on the chat box, responding, echoing the emotion of our speaker. Thank you so much. Please keep that energy coming. Keep it consistent throughout, because everyone here you are seeing on the camera or behind the camera is putting a lot of efforts to bring the celebration together. With that energy, are you ready to witness the next particular speaker on the screen? Indeed, you are, because this is something, it holds a very great persona. While I feel honored and proud to introduce him, may I have the world champion of public speaking of 2009, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark Hunter on the screen. As I said, it's my honor. a distinguished advocate for inclusion with over 50 years of experience living with a disability. A Toastmaster for many years, Mark has received the prestigious President Citation and Toastmaster of the Year award. In 2009, he won the World Championship of Public Speaking and has since been instrumental in developing an advanced curriculum for skilled speakers promoting inclusivity and excellence in communication. Mark Hunter, honor every story, the role of dignity in fostering inclusion. Honor every story, the role of dignity in fostering inclusion, Mark Hunter.
I know who I am. I know what I am. And I know where I want to be. Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, with this knowledge of self, I've been empowered to live a life that is literally littered with significant achievements. One of these achievements is this very moment here, sharing my Toastmasters journey, not of 100 years, but at least of 30. My achievements in Toastmasters have been enabled by my knowledge of self and by my Toastmasters district being committed to the issue of diversity. With this same commitment throughout Toastmasters, diverse members around the world will not have, without this same commitment, diverse Toastmasters around the world will not have an equal opportunity to speak of their dreams. Today, I want to share with you 3 propositions that are the basis of this empowerment of our members with diverse needs. My task is not to motivate you, to tell you what to do. I cannot take on that responsibility because I do not know you. Nor do I know where your Toastmasters environment sits with its commitment to diversity. My task is more to share something with you, some thinking, and if something in what I say interests you, take it, file it, and try it. If nothing gels with you in this moment, choose at least to do something about difference in your club, in the belief that wisdom sometimes
and she gave me a hug and
has its own timing. Proposition 1, we all have a natural inclination to achieve. Some of us might climb mountains, others might climb hills. It matters not because we are all different. What matters is not the summit we seek, but our knowledge of self and how that self is accepted by others. Each and every one of us can act on our natural inclination to achieve when and only when our Toastmasters environment welcomes diversity. Proposition 2, to achieve, we need to be in the state of active and continuous learning. This state of learning can be achieved when each individual feels safe within our organization. Each individual, every individual. And when we feel safe, we can be inspired, engage, and achieve despite who we are, what we are, and where we want to be. Despite all these despites, we need to feel the freedom to learn that comes from being accepted as we are. Proposition 3, to achieve, we need to be able to take risks. We must see each member as an individual on a rightful journey, no matter how different they are. Then and only then will they be able to take the risks they need to get where they want to be. On my many Toastmasters journeys, I've needed to take risks, and I did. I joined Toastmasters. That was my first risk. At my first meeting, I did something stupid, like a table topic. That was a ridiculous risk. I entered the World Championships in my second year in Toastmasters, a risk. I threw myself into leadership positions, a risk. I presented around the world, a risk. To do all these things, my district and others needed to allow me the dignity of risk. They allowed me to take my risks. In doing this, they recognized and honored my full self, my right to self-determination, no matter how different I was. Ladies and gentlemen, if we as an organization want to commit to the principles of equity, to commit to diversity, then we must live the principle of the dignity of risk as all our diverse members travel their own personal journeys. So how can we live this dignity of risk principle? We can encourage others to make their own choices. We can make failure a success. We can create a culture of risk-taking. We can make our club a safe place. Take these ideas, file them, try them. Then we will truly honor every story. And those who live with a diversity can live their natural inclination to achieve, be active in their continuous learning, and ultimately take their own risks. Achieve this, and each member of Toastmasters will be able to say with confidence, I know who I am. I know what I am. And I know where I want to be. And provided with the dignity of risk, I will know how to get there. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. What a powerful speech with such compelling pointers back to back. Indeed, you left again the footprints in our heart and our mind once again. Please put your hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Mark Hunter once again. Thank you so much. Are you ready for the next speaker lined up here? Yes, I can see those faces and the nods. I'm equally excited to have another profound speaker on stage. May I request our Zoom moderator to please have on screen our next speaker, Bunzo Suzuki. My absolute honor to introduce him, a devoted Toastmaster with over 22 years of unwavering commitment to the organization. With a distinguished career at Mazda, he brings a wealth of experience and insights to the stage. Today, he will impart invaluable lessons, reflect on a personal regret, and share his visionary idea for the future of Toastmasters, leaving us all inspired and empowered to grow both personally and as a community. Bunzo Suzuki, my Toastmasters journey. Lessons, regrets, and new ideas. My Toastmasters journey. Lessons, regrets, new ideas. Bunzo Suzuki. May I request you to please unmute?
First of all, Thank you, World Travelers, for organizing such an exceptional occasion to celebrate our centennial like this. I'm very much honored to be here. 22 years ago, I joined Toastmasters. I had one goal, to help my old friend and then quietly slip away after 1 year. Well, you can easily see how well that goal worked out. Before joining Toastmasters, I had worked at Mazda Motor for 37 years, helped promoting Mazda cars in North America and many other countries. I also got involved in public affairs, dealing with many international journalists. It was all exciting and fruitful, but looking back, I realized something important was missing. That was hand-on leadership training. Shortly after retiring from Mazda, I joined Toastmasters to help my old friend charter the first Toastmasters club in Hiroshima. My plan was to stay for 1 year, but that became 2, 3, and now it's been 22 years. Along the way, I met many wonderful Toastmasters leaders, and I learned a lot of lessons, which I wish I had known back at Mazda. Parliamentary procedures, servant leadership, and the core value of integrity. These are just only a few of them. For example, after reading our club constitution, I felt more confident about handling club business. Learning some basic principles of Robert Rules of Order helped me become much more comfortable presiding over meetings at different levels. Back at Mazda, reading the fine print of my Mazda employment contract never occurred to me. I have only one regret about my Toastmasters journey. I didn't join Toastmasters earlier. Can you imagine how much smoother things would have been at Mazda with parliamentary procedures, for example? I could have helped shorten those long stockholders' meetings by using proper procedure. Our president and other executives would have loved me for that. Now, what does Toastmasters hold for me in the future? Thanks to Zoom, even a senior in age like me can stay engaged and continue communicating for years to come. As we age, it's easy to feel like we should step back, but staying connected, meeting with new people, exchanging ideas, and learning new things, these give us a renewed sense of purpose in life. Toastmasters, with the help of Zoom, will keep that purpose alive for me for years ahead. By the way, we belong to Toastmasters, where leaders are supposed to be made. Wouldn't it be nicer if we had many more friendly yet competitive elections for area and other district officer roles, instead of struggling to find candidates? Where can we find more leader candidates? I personally believe immediate past club presidents are untapped resources, a potential fantastic pool of future district officer candidates. The club constitution clearly states that the immediate past club president is a club officer. Why don't we extend the courtesy of officially inviting them to the new club officer training? They could gain valuable insight into leadership opportunities beyond their club, learn new skills and challenges, and connect with peers and experienced leaders. The fresh learning opportunities are just there for them to grab. While we are discussing the club officer training, how about also including Pathways Basecamp Manager training as a part of the club officer training? This would be an easy addition because new Basecamp managers are all already attending the training. Adding the Basecamp Manager training would ensure that both new Basecamp manager and other new officers are better equipped to manage pathways effectively in their clubs. So that's my Toastmasters journey, 22 years. One regret, prospects for my future, and a couple of ideas. Let's keep learning, communicating, and leading better. And let's make sure no one else has to regret joining Toastmasters too late. Thank you for everybody for your attention. Back to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bunzo Suzuki. Thank you for expanding the horizon and giving us many food for thought to think what else can be taken care, what new things can be bought. Please put your hands together for our speaker here, for those knowledge and expertise. Ladies and gentlemen present in the meeting today, are you enjoying, having fun, all those experience with a cup of tea or coffee? Or in case of it's midnight, I leave it up to you what you want to drink. Thank you so much, Lauren. Okay. Remember the agenda where I explained and mentioned you're going to have a combination of many things? Here comes another time, another minute to find something other than the speech. Yet, we are keeping a very special speech for you. But for now, let's bring a slight fun element here. Are you all excited to see this change or this particular journey? Are you here? Are you excited? Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, people, if comfortable, please come on camera. Give us some emoticons. Express yourself, how you're feeling. What was your favorite moment and what did you learn on the chat as well? We would love to hear it. We would love to read it out loud as well. And I'm happy to see people appreciating and acknowledging each and every segment. Thank you so much for staying till now and stay on hanging there. We have many more things lined up for you. As I mentioned, before another speak, let's have some fun here. For this particular fun, we have very special and dedicated person present in this particular meeting. May I request distinguished Toastmaster Melanie to be spotlighted for us if she is in the room. Okay, I can see her. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Melanie, to be here. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, a dedicated Toastmaster of 15 years, with whom we are seeing here, a proud member of Eastwood Toastmasters. As an active participant in the advanced club Find Your Funny, Melanie has flourished as a fun master, bringing joy and creativity to her sessions. Recognized as Division Director of the Year and an award-winning Vice President Public Relation, she produced a top 11 #Wow Factor video showcased at the International Convention. Please join me to invite our fun master for the event. Distinguished Toastmaster Melanie, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So in Toastmasters, every voice has equal value and it's time to share your voice. I will try my best to pronounce your name, and apologies if it's wrong. The way we're going to play this game is it's called Zippy Clips, and I'm going to ask you to name something inspired by the clip and use less than 5 words so we can hear more voices in the room. Try and think of something from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, or South Korea, because that's team 1. And listen carefully so you don't repeat something from a previous person. Please turn on your videos to play so that I know that you're not keeping quiet. Shh. Don't wake the baby. And I will give you your name order in groups of 3 to 4. And mute after you finish speaking. So for our first example, I'm going to invite someone to name a dynamic city. Name a dynamic city, and I'm going to invite Shruti, Tamami, and Hailing. Shruti, Tamami, and Hailing, take it away, a dynamic city. You're on mute, Shruti.
I was just waiting for Tamami to respond here, but Tamami, would you like to give it a shot?
Tokyo.
You go quickly in order, so zippy, zippy. Shruti, then Tamami, then Hailing.
Did I hear Tokyo from Tamami?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you
so
hear me?
next person. Next person is Shruti.
Yeah, you're just putting me on spot. My brain has
Yes.
suddenly. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on. 5-second rule. Next person, go on. Hailing, what's your answer? Dynamic city.
Sydney.
Sydney, that's it. Well done. I'm going to ask the audience for help, so give me a surprise space emoticon if you hear something repeated or outside of our team area. And I'm going to ask you to give us a big heart if we have 7 correct in a row. So our first one, we're going to have name something that's a tasty treat. Name something that's a tasty treat. And I'm going to invite Mita. Then Deanna's got her hand up. You put it in the chat. And Ramesh. Mita, Deanna, and Ramesh. Take it away.
Sushi.
Thank you. Cake. Okay. And Deanna, what has Deanna put in the chat? She hasn't put it in yet. Next, Eda, Smita, and Scott. Eda, Smita, and Scott. And you're on mute, Eda. Sorry, Deanna.
Tempura shrimp.
Tempura shrimp. And Scott, you want to play?
Pasta, like pasta with breadcrumbs.
Pasta. Okay,
And-
I'm
and,
not sure if that belongs to Japan or any of
Oh,
our
to
countries.
Japan.
So we
Oh,
will have a
right.
surprise. Okay, and I think we'll have our final category before I have to hand back. And our category is name something. Thanks, Deanna. Name something that's a breathtaking landscape. A breathtaking landscape. And I invite Kim, Yannicka, and Victoria. Kim, Yannicka, and Victoria, take it away. Kim Low. All right, moving on to Yannicka Chantrishawala.
Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji, very good. Victoria Lee, would you like to play?
Sydney Opera.
Sydney Opera House, that is a breathtaking landscape. And our lucky last, let's go with Pam Holly.
How about the Glasshouse Mountains on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland?
Ooh. Well, thank you everyone for playing today with Zippy Clips. I think we didn't have enough time to do this segment. I hope to get another chance to do it again, but I think as we have in Toastmasters, every voice counts, and in the spirit of diversity, with sharing our voice from the least to the greatest and embracing diversity around the world, we are a much richer organization. And back to you, Toastmaster Shmuti.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Melanie for keeping it crisp. Yet, Melanie, you made me feel I'm so bad at playing these games. And having said that, it's so important to be so active throughout, brushing your energy and also your memory without each and every part of the globe. Thanks a lot, Melanie, for your time and for your particular segment. Please put your hands together for our fun master here. And as promised, we mentioned that we are keeping another very special speaker for you here. May I request if we have the speaker in the room, Zoom? Okay, thank you so much. Request to okay, thank you. Request to have Okay, again, another honoring moment where I introduced the speaker, a dedicated Toastmaster of 33 years, whose journey led him to serve as Toastmasters International President in 2016-17. A competitive leader, Mike has won both the district table topic in evaluation contest as well. Passionate about corporate outreach, he pioneered strategies to boost corporate involvement. What else I can see? His mantra is remember the member, drives his commitment to mentoring and leadership. Please put your hands together and kindly spotlight our speaker, Mike Storkey. Yes, he is spotlighted. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Mike Storkey, for you. Mike Storkey, what legacy will you leave? What legacy will you leave, Mike Storkey?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters around the world, 100 years ago, a man had an idea, and he has left us a legacy which we pursue worldwide. So what is a legacy? Many of us wish we had a rich uncle who would leave us a fortune, a car, a property. But those things wither with time. You can spend the money, you can lose your house, and cars do wear out. But an idea that takes hold in people around the world is a legacy that will endure forever. Coming up with this idea was not to make him famous. It was in order to share an idea that would bring others to fulfillment. But in order for this idea to take hold, he needed people to continue the work. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how we are the legacy that he left and how it is our duty to continue the legacy we'll live on. Consider the ideas that he left for us. The first one, a simple thing, a Toastmasters promise. Simple, but so necessary if we are to continue the ideas that he proposed. The second one was core values. And what core values they are: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Not just core values for Toastmasters, but core values for our means of dealing with everybody around the world. And finally, what else did he leave us? He left us the opportunity to grow. What a wonderful gift. But do we all take full advantage of what he left us? Let's look at the Toastmasters promise. Do we always prepare for our meetings, or do sometimes we try to wing it? Do we attend every meeting where possible? The biggest one is, do we bring guests to meetings? These simple promises we make when we become a Toastmaster are there for the benefit of the organisation as a whole and the plethora of people who have yet to discover the wonders of his legacy. It's our responsibility to fulfil that legacy by honouring the promise we make. Yet it's all too easy for us to sometimes forget to carry out these simple initiatives simply because it's expedient to do so, or we don't really understand the benefit, or we're too busy, or we're time poor. Yet being able to be a good time manager is one of the skills that Toastmasters teaches us. And not just to be a good Toastmaster, because the interesting thing is our founder never wanted us to be better Toastmasters. He wanted us to be better people so that we could take the skills that we learn in Toastmasters to our community, our careers, and our family. And how often we lose sight of that. It is our responsibility to grow our clubs, to retain our members, to treat each one with respect. And through the process of becoming better speakers, understand the opportunities for leadership. When you look at the world today, how much need is there for more leaders who are prepared to listen, think, and speak from the heart. The things that we gain through being a Toastmaster: better listening, better speaking, better thinking. The opportunities that we have to continue the legacy puts a huge responsibility on each one of us. Do you realise that the future of the organisation is not in what has happened in the past 100 years, but what will happen in the next 100? And we are the custodians of his legacy. It is up to us to ensure that his legacy goes on so that those people who have not yet learnt the benefits of becoming the person they were meant to be can join Toastmasters Club and experience the joy that we have had by being a member. The responsibility is ours. The legacy he left us is now ours to pass on. And I ask you this question: what legacy will you leave to your fellow member, to your club, to the world at large? That is the legacy he is asking us to fulfill. May we all be worthy of the task. Remember, knowledge is worth nothing unless you share it with others. And our responsibility is to share the legacy of our founder with those who have not yet been able to join us. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Mike. Trust me when I say this. Thank you so much for redefining those fine prints again for us and forcing us to think beyond the horizon once again. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Mike Storkey. Let me go to my gallery mode and may I request, especially the speakers and our esteemed guest, everybody to come on camera once again while I share my gratitude to you and also request you for a group picture. By the time you are ready with your camera face, let me share something which I really felt. It was indeed a journey for me. Thank you. I enjoyed the segment being the Toastmaster of the day for this particular segment. And to have these profound, incredible 10 speakers, I got a chance to have a very first-hand experience introducing you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, inspiring thoughts, and definitely those exponential experiences with us. Your words have truly embodied the spirit of Toastmasters and have left us all enriched and motivated. Again, it was my absolute honor to be the part of this extraordinary celebration. Thank you all once again for the energy, especially people who are joining as a guest. With all the distinguished Toastmaster, thank you so much for this engagement in the chat room. Well, I'm signing off now. You please stay tuned as the journey continues from here. As I am passing over the baton to our esteemed Area 1 team leader, Toastmaster Tamami, stay there for the group picture once again. Toastmaster Tamami, back to you.
Thank you so much, Smriti. Let's take group picture now.
Give us the best face you have for the camera today.
Can you give us gallery view?
Let's go to the gallery view, okay?
And yes.
May I request Zoom Master, Toastmaster Manvi, Toastmaster Sankhya, if you're here, to help us with the picture. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. Yes, Manvi, please give a cue.
It's done. Thank
It's
you.
done. All pages.
Yeah.
We have 102 people audience. Okay. Thank you everyone for your great participation. As a team leader, I would like to express my gratitude to all our members in Team 1 for supporting me organize this meeting. I'm pleased to hand over our virtual room to the next team from Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, led by our next team leader, Kim Low. Thank you so much and stay tuned. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Tommy, would you like to make a note?
Good night, you guys.